CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
Good morning and welcome to Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Karen Greer. Coming up in this half hour, Steve Harvey has a mentoring camp for young men, and some foster kids are going to be going from here in Metro Atlanta. We're going to tell you how. A free lunch program that has been in operation for 20 years, feeding kids in need. Now they need some help to continue that ministry. And a prescription drug program to help you save money on prescription drugs. We have details on that coming up as well. But first, we are talking allergies. It is that time of the year with Dr. William Boldman from the Center for Allergy and Asthma. We appreciate you so much. My producer is one of the many who says she really never got allergies until she moved here, from up north. Do you hear that a lot?
We hear that a lot. We have a really long growing season, and just the overall pollen counts tend to be very, very astronomical at times.
Now, when does allergy season really begin?
Sort of depends on the patient, but in general, we really see a peak in the spring with the tree pollens. And then a lot of times we'll see a secondary peak in the fall with ragweed and the weed pollens. That being said, if you're allergic to grasses, that's in the summer. And if you're allergic to animals, dust, that can, it can be a year-round thing for some people.
So when are symptoms actually considered severe?
Symptoms are severe, especially if they impact your ability to work, school, sleep well, your activities. I certainly see patients who say they can hardly go outside during certain times of the year. That, we really need to do something about that.
And at that point is when you go to a doctor and see perhaps what you're allergic to? Yes,
definitely see what we're allergic to. We typically do that through skin testing, trees, grass, weeds, cats, dogs, dust, molds. By knowing what people are allergic to, we can better, recommend avoidance measures if they are severe. Some people need combination medications, and for a lot of our patients, allergy shots or allergy drops to actually make the allergies not as bad, in the first place.
Well, let's back up. The testing for allergies, not like it used to be. It's
not
simplified.
as invasive. Yeah, it used to be more needle approach, and people were fearful of it. We start testing kids around age 4 is about the youngest we would go, for the typical seasonal allergy type stuff. And generally pretty well tolerated, just sort of, it's a scratch test, just pricks the skin, introduces small amounts of allergen. If you're allergic, your skin will react. If you're not allergic, it doesn't.
And it takes about 24 hours, 48 hours?
No, actually, we place the test, and in 20 minutes, we see how the skin, so you'll know at the end of the appointment, and that way we can go over avoidance, if we need to change medications, discuss allergy immunotherapy.
That's see how old I am. That's the last time. It took like 48 hours to get it back. So you mentioned drops. That's something new.
Interestingly, it's been used in Europe for, decades. It's only now becoming a lot more prevalent in the United States. It works on the same principle as allergy shots. We find out what you're allergic to. The drops contain small amounts of these, different allergens, in increasing doses. Those are administered internally so your immune system can build up a secondary reaction that's not allergic. And it tends to be a little less side effects, which is one good thing because you can do them at home. The injections we tend to do in the office just because of safety measures.
Yes, and people don't like to give themselves injections, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, another new thing that I hadn't heard a lot about is tick bites. I know it's been a problem, people have been getting it, but you're noticing a meat allergy could have something to do with it.
Yeah, there's a syndrome called alpha-gal, and that's actually a sugar that can be injected through the Lone Star tick when they bite you. If that gets transmitted in susceptible individuals, they'll develop an immune reaction that can cause an allergy to meat. The thing is, it's a delayed reaction, so it's not like you eat a hamburger and 5 minutes later the reaction occurs. It's about 6 or 8 hours later. So a lot of times people don't put 2 and 2 together that like, oh, it was from what I ate way earlier in the day. There is a simple blood test that can basically test for the allergy. And we do that a lot, especially if we don't have a great obvious reason for the anaphylaxis, the severe allergic reaction.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Now, we're looking at, allergy season. There's all kinds of nose drops and medications, the, Claritins, over-the-counters. What do you all recommend if it's not severe?
If it's not severe, most people, the good thing is a lot of the medicines that are over the counter now were prescription 10 years, 15 years ago. So the medicines are definitely better now. The nasal steroids like Flonase are over the counter now as well. So most people are just going to, take a simple Claritin or, some sort of long-acting antihistamine. If that doesn't work, hey, try a different one. The nasal steroids can be something that you could do either independently or as an add-on. Certainly if you're using these medications and they're not really working, it's like, well, are your allergies so severe that we need to be more aggressive and you need to be tested, consider shots? Or is it that maybe it's not allergies in the first place? And we certainly see people that swear they have allergies and in fact it's like, no, it's something else going on. So testing is helpful for that as well, determining who really has allergies and who doesn't, severity, and where to go next.
And I know we need to move on, but quickly a question about asthma. This is a big time that you're seeing issues with kids in asthma. You think a lot of it has to do with them being out of school, not being on their same routine.
Yeah, sometimes not being on the same routine. A lot of times non-compliance, is one of the big things that will set, asthma off. The asthma medications are so much better than they were years ago, so usually we're able to keep things controlled. That being said, the allergies can affect it. Some kids are a lot more active in the summer, so exercise can be a trigger. So that may also be playing into it as well.
Dr. William Bowman, you're awesome. Thank you so much from the Center for Allergy and Asthma of Georgia.
All right.
Appreciate you. If you have questions for Dr. Bowman, you can give him a call, 770-459-0620, or check out the Allergies at caageorgia.com. And we've got a lot more coming up on today's show, including information about how you can save money on prescription medication. But up next, Steve Harvey, you know him. Well, he's mentoring some young men from right here in Atlanta. We're going to tell you all about that when we come back.